Good evening and welcome.
Divine Creator, we ask that the light of highest awareness fill the minds and hearts of those who are open to your light. We ask that they be assisted and strengthened in their resolve to achieve peace using peaceful means. May their minds, their hearts, and their actions reflect the divine will to good for all. Comfort, strengthen, and support those who are in a difficult situation in their mind, body, or spirit. Bring confidence to them that your divine hand is at work in their life. Amen.
Welcome to our Friday night services. My name is Reverend Mary Huber. I'm pastor of the Community Chapel of Holistic Healing. And this organization is non-denominational, nonprofit spiritual fellowship begun in 1977 by a mystic and channel, Reverend Michelle Luson. She holds the channel of the multidimensional consciousness for us here. And we still hold that even though she's in retirement. She early on had an apparition of Swami Sivananda, who came to her and asked her to start this organization and place it here in the Washington, D.C. area so that we would be a light for the nation's capital. We are here to aid in personal and global spiritual transformation. We have chapel services twice a month, and classes occasionally, and we offer spiritual healing right now, mostly all, if not all. It has to be distance healing right now. But as we come out from this time of the COVID restrictions, I'm sure we will be able to offer local in-person healing. We also maintain a prayer list, and you can find all of this information on our website at CCWH.com. So everyone is on, microphone is on mute. And before we start, we will begin with the recitation of the three healers. These have been channeled by Michelle a very long time ago, and they are the affirmations for centering, balancing, and protecting us. Faith affirmation. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself as a perfect image of the divine creator. In this reflection that is my physical embodiment, I have faith in the supreme guidance of my soul for my balance, my needs, and my opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images, and nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. Hope affirmation. Acknowledging my faith in the omnipresence of my divinity, I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. Charity affirmation. In understanding faith, in knowing hope, I pledge my actions, my desires, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of the earth to honor, to love, and to enlighten all that is a reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged back to my Creator. So help me God. This evening, our topic is entitled Mirror, Mirror in My Mind. And I came upon that the other day when I was thinking about some of the Disney channels and some of the Disney movies that my grandchildren are watching. And this is where the queen, I believe it's Snow White from that movie. And I think that it's a queen that asks the magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all. Now, I think this is a great allegorical reference to the need for each of us to reflect on our own inner world. I believe it is important to do this because our personal world is a reflection of what is held in the mind. The view with which we hold ourselves and the view which we hold of the people around us and our life and the world at large is how we relate to everything and, of course, everybody. This self-reflection or evaluation is what religion has called an examination of conscience. This sense of what is right or wrong is what is known as the conscience. Jiminy Cricket. Now, that's another film by Disney. So digressing there, sorry. Interesting to note that in our mind, our preconceived ideas are firmly held. And these are beliefs that we don't usually question whether they're accurate or they're not. And because of that, when we go into our self-evaluation, we might have some difficulty coming upon these areas that need to be looked upon, refreshed, and seen again in the light of a different consciousness. So our inner mirror can have some distortions. Our mirror can have shadings or colorations as well. Well, we might also think about the angle at which the mirror is placed. We might see the angle of the mirror pointing downward. Then our directional evaluation would be looking at everything at a lower vibration of consciousness, which would lead us to think poorly of ourselves and our life and the people in it. If we look straight ahead at the mirror, our view would be of our personal self and how we see that. The self-evaluation of someone who has good self-esteem will be very different than the person without a good estimation of themselves, to be sure. The straight ahead mirror would indicate our day-to-day life and our progress on it, or lack thereof. I believe many people do avoid looking within if they believe they would find nothing but problems or lack. But fortunately, our world is changing, and there is more and more awareness coming to humanity about their true natures. As this old model of self-flagellation goes away, and each person sees him or herself as a spiritual being housed in a physical form, who is present on the planet with a specific purpose and has the ability to grow and even glow, well, then the straight ahead mirror will reflect the truth of this embodiment, but like that, but only when we do the work. And we can then look and see that. Suppose you change the angle of the mirror again. What if we angle the mirror going up, showing upward? Here we would begin to see our own inner higher nature, the pathway leading to God within. That level of ourself holds those pure views and higher values which our life is actually meant to be built on. That would be the best reflection to consider, I think. Here, the insights and guidance would be available to keep the path clear and to journey through life in a much different way. In other words, our life as we had known it would change. and change not for the better, but for the best. To this point in time, humanity has been given many distortions of reality. The great sales pitch has been going on from the beginning. It's not always in our best interest to listen to these. However, we have all fallen into that trap along the way. There are those who are rooted in personal pride or in the grips of the pseudo-reality. These individuals consider themselves qualified to be the arbiters of other people's destinies and will tell them whatever it takes to get their attention and compliance. You recognize this as being still quite evident in the world, I'm sure, but it's leaving. I have known these kind of things as what used to be called sales pitch. Okay, the world has known them as the Madison Avenue movers and shakers. I believe these were the, if I'm not mistaken, the topic of the TV series called Mad Men. These these advertisement men, were out to sell products or ideas to the highest bidder. The truth of the idea or the product's intrinsic value were of no concern. They understood very well that you don't actually need a good product. You just need to have somebody with the gift of gab, as it was called in my younger days, the olden days of my youth. This is not to say that there are not those who are highly moral and spiritually attuned who have the ability to sway people by their ability to preach and teach. That's on the positive side. But the line between these vastly different people can sometimes be difficult for some people to see. It's important to know the difference. Now, in this world today, there is a term that I'm hearing that's called influencers. Now, I'm not sure exactly what it really means to today's world or the people in it and who are using this term, but my common sense would say that these are people who have set themselves up as important in some field or arena, and their authority wants you to buy or to do something or to believe something. And many people comply, just simply follow it. They find that this is an easy way to not have to make decisions for themselves. But I think it's just been, the admin really being rebranded. But then after all, we're all influencers in one way or another with each other. Our behavior, our speech, our attitude are models for everyone around us. So the wiser people today are not just following along, but are going within themselves and asking God to direct them to know the truth in all matters. With this sincere seeking, things will move out of the hands of human controllers into the hands of God and God's plan for us and our world. But if one does need advice, and most of us do from time to time, for sure, the inner sense given from God when you're doing this work, if we listen, we will understand, we will be directed to the right person to help us. Or we will simply, by virtue of a different plan for ourselves, a different way of doing business in the world, not as we used to, but in a new way, in a new alignment with God, this will create an attraction of the right people who will come to benefit us the most. So as we look into the inner mirror, one might rightly be hoping to find the divine presence within. At least that's what I'm feeling that is important in today's world. What should we see and how would this look? And I Wanted to give you probably the entire reading of the entire book by the Ascended Master Serapis Bey, but I'm going to give you just a few paragraphs. These are his words. If the life is lived according to the divine plan, then conformity comes not as a struggle, but as a result of happy and joyous submission to the Christ ideal within. The soul of such a person is always happy and joyous to receive even the little treasures and gifts of divine grace. This person seeks not necessarily some great philosophical statement or go for that kind of a delving into that kind of thing, which would exalt the mind within the human domain. This individual, he or she is pleased with the formation of the clouds, with the shape of the leaves on the tree, with the color of the flowers, with an expression of hope in the eyes of a child. The simple things. This one finds not the need to criticize mankind or self, but only to epitomize the divine ideal by loving and joyous obedience to the Christ design. Recognizing that he or she came forth from the light, that person seeks to return to the light and desires no longer to walk in the darkness of human reason. The anchor that has been cast behind the veil is the anchor sent from the heart and soul as an activity of love of God. This activity of love flows up the life stream to the Holy Christ self and is carried by the consciousness of the Christ back into the heart of the Father, the I Am presence. The magnetism of the divine is a lodestone that will transmute shadow in the human octave and transform the consciousness of the one who is making this kind of ascension within themselves. So that little by little, there will gradually occur in his or her world a lessening of the tenacious ties which over centuries have been woven to various people, places, conditions, and things. And at the same time, there will occur a renewal of the ancient covenant of the soul with the Father, whereby the Son recognizes that the return home to the heart of God is most imperative. In a previous chapel service, I spoke about the formation of the pyramidal structure in the physical, which is a reflection of the one in the heavenly realms above. Each person has this configuration or reflection within themselves. It's a triangular structure, the law of three. When we attend to perfect the body, mind, and spirit in alignment in our earthly realm while we are embodied, the magnetic attraction is then created to bring in the higher triangle or pyramidal structure from the heavens. As the lower one ascends into higher frequencies and perfection, the higher one, through this magnetic attraction, descends and locks into place, forming the great Star of David, which represents the divine man. This ancient symbol of the union of the divine with the perfected human is here and given to us to remind us of the goal of life's journey. Eventually, it takes many journeys in the physical, numerous embodiments and labors of each to achieve this. When 51% of karma is satisfied and other necessary preparations have been completed, we are eligible to receive a stamp of approval, so to speak, from the Great Karmic Board to be candidates for ascension. Once this occurs, that person is given, just like Elijah in his chariot of fire, a glorious means of transport out of the human octave into the octaves of light, far beyond the psychic realm, the heaven world most people envision. It must be remembered that the ascension must be desired, and desired ordinately. I had to look that word up because I wanted to be sure I was doing a correct translation, but it is in not to go beyond the work at hand, to do it in a kind of a fashion that is going to lead you in sequence to the desired end, but not to be skipping steps, or not to be so focused on just the ascension that the pieces in between are missed, because that will not work either. Not as a mechanism of escape from reality. This is not what ascension is, or from responsibility. We don't escape from it. It must, and we can't have that as a desire. It must be desired as the culmination of a lifetime of service in the will of God. And one needs to be able to give the very best of service to the light and to help usher in the kingdom in their several final embodiments, not just their last one. The ascension current is the flame of regeneration from the heart of God. This ascended master consciousness, which you would make your own by your attention to that cosmic process and service, will restore you to the former state that you knew with God before the world was. So I believe that our own magic mirror within should be consulted daily to see how our spiritual muscles are developing as we proceed to do our prayers, meditation, good works, and keeping aligned with our highest values and intent. And so it is. Thank you. And now we'll begin our meditation.
All right, today's meditation is drawn from the work of Chrissy Blaze and her Power Prayer program. We begin by taking deep breaths in and out. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out as we feel ourselves relaxing. And as our breathing begins to regulate. We feel ourselves begin to become heavy. And we focus on our grounding cord stretching down through the earth. We become aware of this connection to our source of support and stability, that is Mother Earth. And we call on the great violet flame to cleanse this connection and fill it with a vibrant violet color and violet flame. We take a moment to let the violet flame work its way down our grounding cord and then come up to our own energy bodies, our own physical bodies, our own mental bodies. Moving up our body, starting at our feet and working its way up our legs, our torsos, our arms, and into our head. Now reaching upward, we call on the white light. We feel the white light connection that brings us closer to the heavens and the spirit realm. We feel it strongly coming out of the top of our heads. And we feel that connection being filled with white light. It travels down to us, down our cord of spiritual connection, into our heads, and moves down the entirety of our bodies. We are grounded in the earth. We are connected to heaven. We are cleansed by the violet flame. We now become aware that slightly above our heads, there is a great golden sphere. It radiates a brilliant golden light, and it is operated by the divine spark. Which is in turn connected to us, to all of us. It is ever present, all powerful, all knowing. And though still and silent, it is fully alive and always radiating this brilliant golden light. We begin to slowly bring this golden sphere down towards us, into our bodies, where we feel it merge with our heart center. We see this golden light in our chest. And just as importantly, we feel a warm golden glow of pure spiritual power. This golden glow completely fills our heart centers. Our heart centers are magnificent and filled with powerful light. As we focus on this area, we see our hearts gently opening. An image may come to us at this time of our open heart. And we also feel a heightened capacity for unconditional, universal love for ourselves, for others, and indeed for all life. As we continue to hold our focus, this golden light continues to grow in intensity. It is firmly in our chest and it expands. It expands to fill the whole of our chest, moving into our shoulders and arms, reaching ever outward into our abdomen, our pelvis, our legs. It continues its expansion until it completely fills the aura. Once our auras are filled with this golden energy, this pure golden light, we see it expanding further yet. It reaches out into the room in which we are sitting. And then it expands further. We watch as this golden light spreads, surrounding our loved ones, our families, our relatives, our friends, all enveloped in this golden light. But this light does not stop. After it surrounds our friends and relatives, it keeps moving, it keeps expanding until it surrounds our colleagues, our enemies, our rivals, complete strangers. They are all being surrounded, included in the great golden light. And as we continue our meditation and prayer, so too we are aware of the golden light and how it encompasses all beings and the entire planet. We take a moment to visualize the planet completely encased in this golden light of pure spirituality. We take a few moments more, seeing this golden light fill the earth and everything in it. Then, quite suddenly, almost like a lightning flash, we see this golden light extend through all of space. And like a flash of lightning, just that quickly, it fills the whole of creation with its beautiful, pure golden glow. We bring ourselves back to our own bodies and feel how saturated they are with this golden light. It begins to feel as though our sense of self, our sense of I, our limiting ego is simply dissolving in the golden light. As we slowly but surely become one with the light of God. Now that we are aware of this oneness, this lightness, we may find ourselves feeling limitless. We may be soaring through the clouds, trailing along the peaks of mountains, across endless fields. Perhaps we find ourselves plunging deep into the ocean, or moving swiftly through space. Whatever we feel or see, we feel and know that we are one with all creation. We are one with the divine. We find ourselves being deeply aware that we are all divine spirit. We are one with the light of God. We are one with the love of God. And the light and love of God never fails. From this place of oneness, this place of divine love, we know that the divine spirit has great, fantastic, incredible healing power. And we channel some of that now, sending out healing, sending out love and light to whatever person, place, or situation comes to mind first. We bathe it with this powerful, generous, loving, healing light. We keep sending out our healing energy, our healing prayers. A little longer. Letting them go out to whatever person or group of people, whatever place or situation comes to us. we continue to strongly channel this healing energy towards that need. Once we feel this healing has been sent, we find our focus is brought back to our own bodies, our own minds, our own spirits. Again, we have the knowing, the feeling that we are light, we are love. We are ourselves a great and vibrant healing presence. We are divine spirit. We are one with the light of God. We are one with the love of God. The light and love of God never fails. Keeping this truth always in a part of our minds, a part of our bodies, and a part of our spirits, we slowly begin our return journey to our own bodies and our own homes. Coming back fully and consciously into our physical bodies, where we slowly open our eyes. Welcome back, and thank you.
Well, thank you, Kelly, for that beautiful meditation. Very transcending. I hope you found our website at ccwh.com, where you can see some of our past chapel services, and you can relive some of the and review some of the beautiful meditations that are there within the chapel services. And if you go to our website, you might consider, if you would, becoming a member, and where you can make a pledge directly there, or make an ongoing pledge as well. So we would be very grateful for any help you can give us financially, because we do depend on our community to support and keep us going in the world.
For 44 years, CCWH has been an amazing place for spiritual learning, growth, and value. We will continue to provide value that will enrich your spiritual journey. Donations big and small makes what we do possible. Please help us help you and others by making a donation today. Click here to visit ccwh.com. Thank you.